Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at something pretty universal, really, for any group. How do you keep unity when people just, disagree on things? Our source material focuses on Paul's letter to the Romans, chapter 14, verses 1 to 12. And our mission, essentially, is to figure out the main reason Paul gives for, stopping the judgment and starting acceptance.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the sources point out right away that, look, disagreements were kind of expected. Paul wasn't shocked.
Yeah.
He knew these believers were, as the material puts it, saved yet still weak sinners. So the challenge isn't really if there's disagreement, but how you handle it together.
Okay, let's dig into that. What were these specific conflicts? Paul wasn't tackling, major heresy here, was he?
No, not at all. He was dealing with what our sources called disputable matters or opinions, things based on personal conscience.
And what did that look like practically in Rome?
Well, he gives two main examples. First, food laws.
Yeah.
You had some believers, the strong, who felt free in Christ to eat anything. Then you had others, maybe the weak, perhaps Jewish converts, still sensitive about old rules, who felt they should only eat vegetables.
Ah, okay. Big difference in practice.
Definitely. And the second area was about special days. Some thought certain days were more important. Others felt all days were basically the same in God's eyes.
Seems almost minor to us now, maybe, but clearly it was causing real friction back then.
Enough to divide people, yeah.
So if they were arguing about food and days, what's the modern equivalent? How does that translate for us, listening today?
Oh, it maps directly onto lots of things. Areas where sincere believers have different convictions. Think about entertainment choices, how you spend money, maybe even styles of worship.
Sure, they're gray areas.
Exactly. And Paul's command isn't everyone pick the same side. It's welcome him, but not to quarrel over opinions. Unity in spirit, not uniformity in practice.
Okay, but isn't there a line somewhere? If Paul's saying these aren't core doctrines, how do we know when it is something important enough to address versus when to just welcome them?
Ah, that's the pivot. He moves straight from the what the behavior to the who. The identity.
Right.
The reason you stop judging is because you don't have the authority. It's about jurisdiction, really. Your standing with God is between you and him, not you and your neighbor.
Okay, this is where it gets really foundational, isn't it? This idea of ownership. What difference does it actually make to remember that, like Paul says, whether we live or whether we die, we are the Lord's?
It changes everything. It means you stop acting like you're the boss of someone else's faith. Paul asks this really pointed question. Who are you to pass judgment on the servant of another? Think about that. He says it is before his own master that he stands or falls.
So judging a fellow Christian is basically like stepping into God's role.
You're usurping his authority. Exactly. Their spiritual success or failure, that's between them and Christ. He's the one they belong to.
So grasping that truth, that fundamental ownership, it kind of removes our right to criticize or control another person's conscience on these matters. Right. Your role shifts completely. It's not about policing anymore.
It's about building up, encouraging.
That's it. Which leads right into the final piece. Accountability. If we step back from judging each other here, well, who does hold people accountable?
Yeah, because accountability doesn't just vanish, right? It's just placed where it belongs.
Precisely. Paul's logic is clear.
Yeah.
Stop judging each other because we will all stand before the judgment seat of God.
Okay. So judgment is coming.
Oh, yes. But it's God's judgment, not ours. Paul hammers this home. Every knee will bow. Each of us will give an account of himself to God. You're not responsible for tallying up your brother's or sister's score.
Wow. So the big takeaway then is we're family. Whether we feel strong or weak in faith on these opinions doesn't matter as much as the fact that we belong to Christ together.
Exactly.
And our job is simple. Less condemning, more loving, more grace.
And Paul grounds all of this in the ultimate act of ownership, doesn't he? He says Christ died and rose again precisely so that he might be Lord both of the dead and of the living. He owns it all.
So here's the thought to leave you with. Knowing that Christ's lordship is that total life, death, everything, how does that change your willingness, maybe this week, to offer acceptance instead of criticism, especially in those tricky gray areas? That's the challenge Paul sets before you. Thanks for diving deep with us.